Well, hello, everybody. Today is Wednesday, November the 19th, and you're watching 270 weather for the 270 area code and beyond. My name is Chris Allen. Thanks for tuning in here on this Wednesday night. You can see the subscription right there, right? Right there. Yeah, it's a new little bot. So when you make, here's what I've done. So when you guys make comments now, I can see them over here on this side of the screen, over here on the left. So yeah, you can see I've got my subscription comment there. But when you guys make comments and you're trying to catch my attention because you're either not seeing me or hearing me or something is going wrong, I fixed that. So now I can just look over there and I'll see your comments. And there you go. If you have an avatar, whatever, you can put it in there. As long as you don't put anything, nasty, have at it. So that way, now everybody can see your comments and see who you are. And so we'll try this and see if it works. Okay. I'm not convinced that it works, but this is another one of those experiments. See there? I see Snickerdoodle saying, "Hey, Chris." Hey, Snickerdoodle. See, it works. It works. So we'll just give it a go here and see how it plays out. Okay. So we've got we've had this first round of rain, which came through, most of it yesterday. Today has just been a cloudy, kind of yucky day. Ugh. I mean, fog, drizzle, all of that today. It really didn't measure as far as, precipitation total, not even a trace. I mean, it was zero at the airport. So, but that's going to change tomorrow. It's going to change. We've got some rain and more potentially heavy rain that's going to come in tomorrow and for Friday and even a little bit of Saturday. And I know some of you are thinking, okay, well, here we go, getting close to Thanksgiving. So what's it going to be? Well, let's check it out. Okay. I'm going to go from this to the next scene and let's see if this works. Okay, there we go. So we'll get back to your comments in a moment. Today, the 19th, here in Bowling Green and at the airport, we had a high of 66, 8 degrees warmer than the normal high of 58. That's all we got today. And really, that temperature happened early because with the clouds and the fog and all that, it just didn't warm up very much today. And I kind of knew it wouldn't. That fog, too, it lasted for hours and hours this morning. I didn't think it was ever going to go away. We may have more of that tonight, by the way. Low of 57. And as I mentioned right there, you can see that there's zero rainfall, precipitation here at the Bowling Green Airport for the past 24 hours. So let's take a look at projected rainfall. Now, this is where we're going to start getting into the next few rounds of rain, and they will start tomorrow. And I'm thinking maybe early to mid morning. The rain will begin to move in as it shows here. This is the multi-day Weather Prediction Center, QPF, quantitative precipitation forecast. So what we're looking at here, when we go from the dark blues to the light blues, we're going from ½ inch to an inch of rain. So this would be mostly for the day, tomorrow, tomorrow night, and into early Friday. Well, let's add another day onto that. Let's add Friday night into Saturday. And there you see pretty much an inch overall. Broad brush, another inch of rain between tomorrow and Friday evening, we'll say. Well, let's add in Saturday and Sunday. There's not going to be much because we'll be in between the system that's going to leave us early Saturday morning. And then I think there's going to be this break from Saturday evening and through much of the day on Sunday. But then as we get into Thanksgiving week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all the way to next Thursday, Thanksgiving. Oh, now keep in mind, this is collectively. This is not like at one sitting or on one day do we get this much rain. But the new multi-day QPFs are out, and it's showing that between tomorrow and next Thursday, which is Thanksgiving, we're looking at collectively over that span of 7 days, around 2.5 inches of rain. And the models keep going back and forth on this. And I think it's pretty consistent to say that at least 1 to 2 inches is certainly possible over the next 7 days. And yes, this does include Thanksgiving. It does appear that Thanksgiving will be a little on the wet side. So that's the way it sits right now. Here's a look at live radar as of 6:23 p.m. on this November 19th, Wednesday evening. And I'll turn on the satellite so you can see the clouds. And we still have plenty of clouds. And the fog maybe has, diminished from where it was this morning, but it's going to come back tonight. And overnight, we're actually going to find more cloud cover coming in from the west ahead of the rain that is going to fall tomorrow. So skies are really not going to clear up. But some of you further south, say south of Nashville and maybe over toward the Cumberland Plateau, you did have a little bit of sun this afternoon, like over toward Tompkinsville and Burkesville and Albany, Monticello. There was enough sun that if your skies stayed cloudy, or I'm sorry, clear, to mainly clear for a time this evening, then you're more likely to get fog. But we could wake up in the morning here in Bowling Green and much of the 270 with some fog again tomorrow before it starts raining. That's how it looks right now. Okay. All right. Well, let's go on now to the Kentucky Mesonet Network, and I will show you how it looks right now here at 6:25 on this Wednesday evening. Right now, temperatures are in the 50s all across the board. 54 at the Corvette plant, 55 at the WKU Ag Expo Center. High temperatures today were 60s, yes, but some of those high temperatures happened early before the fog, and the low clouds, of course, just kept us from getting, and a north wind also kept us from getting any warmer than that today. But like I said, there's an exception. Some of you down around those cities that I mentioned, Tompkinsville, Burkesville, Albany, look at that, upper 60s and low 70s. So you had a little sun breakthrough there today, but the rest of us did not. So that kept our temperatures down. Low temperatures for the day, not a big change, mid to upper 50s. Winds are right now still from the north, from, fairly light, 2 to 3 miles per hour to around 5 or 6. How much precipitation today? Well, there was some to the east of us early on, like Russell County, 87 hundredths of an inch of rain, almost 9/10 of an inch of rain there, 3/10 of an inch of rain in Wayne County, Monticello. And then some lighter amounts around up toward Pulaski County, Somerset. That's McCreary County, Whitley City picked up a half inch of rain. The rest of us did not. There was a little bit of drizzle, but that's about the extent of it. All right. We'll go on now to the surface maps, and I will show you there what we're expecting. Now, already the surface map, or what we call the synoptic maps, are showing fog developing even this evening over the Bowling Green area, 65 corridor, and further north and further east. And then it becomes widespread as we get into midnight and after, even down into Middle Tennessee. So when you get up in the morning and you have to go to the Nashville area, you're going to find some fog. Now, here comes the next round of rain. And it's coming. It is coming. And it's going to be with us, mid to late morning through pretty much all day tomorrow, into tomorrow night, and on into Friday. Yes, this is going to be more rounds of rain. So you're going to need to keep your rain gear, umbrellas, rain jackets, all of that. Because it's going to be very wet. In fact, I think tomorrow, once this really gets cranked up, it is going to produce, I think, some heavier rain right there, noontime, somewhat stalled boundary, and maybe some rumbles of thunder, because along that warm front, we get elevated showers and thunderstorms, and that could produce some thunder and lightning. But there is not a severe weather risk for tomorrow. Just ordinary stuff. Now, remember the other day when I said the severe weather threat, even though they put it out, it was conditional. And I said, I'm not even convinced that it's going to happen. And what happened? Nothing. Well, not around here. Far western Kentucky, yes. In fact, when I was doing this podcast live last night, there was a cell that went tornado warned back into western Kentucky, but that was it. For here, nothing, because it was a conditional threat. That's why I don't get caught up in the hype. You got to know the ingredients. You got to know how the weather's behaving. And if I see that there are just certain things missing, I'm not going to just throw it out there that there's severe weather coming when I'm not convinced that it's going to happen. And I'll tell you why I think it's not going to happen. And tomorrow, the reason why it's not going to happen is because of a cloud cover. The cloud cover is going to be pretty thick. We've got a lot of moisture. We don't see a whole lot of, there's this thing called lapse rates. It's a difference in altitude with temperature and dew points and all of that. It gets a little complicated, but see, I don't want to throw out things like that. Like I made that post the other day about the hype that's on social media. I'm just not going to barrage you and parade a lot of $5 words out here just to impress you. I'm just not going to do it. I want to explain the weather simply so that you get it, you understand it. Some of these things that are being posted on social media, they're putting out these words, but yet there's no context. They don't explain what those words mean. I'm just not going to do that. I mean, here's the thing, and I say this humbly. If I have not impressed you already, nothing else I could say, $5 words or whatever, fancy graphics, it's not going to impress you. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. I can't wait to look in the mirror because I get better looking each day. That's a good song. Anyway, so rain and thunderstorms tomorrow. The front stalls. Now, that's key. As we've seen here before, when a front stalls like this sits right over the area, it's almost like when you fill up a sponge full of water and it can't hold any more water, and it just starts to seep out. Well, that's pretty much what's going to happen tomorrow and into tomorrow night and early Friday, round upon round upon round of showers and thunderstorms. This is Friday evening. You see another low pressure system back to the west, and the front just kind of flexes back and forth, not very much movement at all. Now, as we get into Saturday, we do see some movement, and we see this moving off to the east. So I think all day tomorrow, tomorrow night, Friday night, then Saturday morning, this particular episode of rain will begin to taper off. But we're really not done. We're really not done. Here is Sunday with a little moisture sneaking back in to Middle Tennessee, West Tennessee, and maybe even parts of the 270. And Monday, yes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, more showers. Here comes another front. This is Tuesday, and here's Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Busiest travel day of the year right there. And just for, just for fun here, let me zoom out, since it is the busiest travel day of the year, and let me show you the entire picture, because I know a lot of you will be traveling. So you can see the eastern half of the United States, including us, will be in the throes of rain and maybe thunderstorms further south. Now it turns to snow once you get up to Maine. Do you see any snow around here like the interwebs have been showing you, social media? Oh, we were supposed to have this huge big area of cold and snow by Thanksgiving. Well, that's not what I see. Now, there is some colder air that's going to start to spill in with this trough in the central part of the country next Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. And yes, there will be some snow, maybe in parts of the plains, but mostly on the east side of the Rockies. Everything else looks pretty dry. So that's next Wednesday, the big picture. There you go. I wanted you to see that. Now, of course, it could change. It could. But for now, that's what we're going with. Here is a look at the blender. And you can see that we've got temperatures running at or above normal for a while. I do not see any change in that for this coming weekend or much of next week until, and I just showed you, that big trough and that much colder air coming in by late Wednesday, and you can see we get up to 60, then we fall to 35, but we only get to near 50, 49, 50 on Thanksgiving Day. I said to you 2 weeks ago, remember this? I said 2 weeks ago that Thanksgiving looks like we are going to be in the 50s with some rain. And there you go. This is the way it looks. 49, 50. Now it does get cold at night. Look at those 20s, upper 20s, and highs in the 40s. And that's Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and the Saturday, next Saturday, the 3-day weekend, 4-day weekend, actually. But there you see it. Is it cold enough to snow? Yes. At night, but during the day, no. It's going to be too warm. So when all these things just go, off the wall and off the charts, like we've been seeing, from all the different people that are on the internet, and just really just going crazy with this stuff. It's just really a bad thing, because we don't need that. We don't need that kind of garbage going on. So anyway, so let's look. See there, we've got a bunch of comments here. Let me just go through and make sure that I'm, making sure that I've recognized each of you. I know it looks kind of small. It does to me. It's hard for me to, what I'm looking at, it's hard to read, but it's there. Let's see if I could put up Patty. What is the temperature going to be tonight? About 48. 48 is what I'm going to go with, a low. Linda Clark, keep a raincoat handy. Yes, that's good. Chris D, hey, hope we don't see too much rain. Well, too much. I don't think there's going to be flooding or anything that's severe weather. How much rain last night? Here we didn't get anything, unless you want to count the 2/10. Well, actually here at the airport for the day yesterday, but that's counting a 24-hour period. It was 31 hundredths of an inch total here in Bowling Green. Okay. So thank you, Alan. Let's see. Steve M. Will this be a La Nina winter? Yes. We are going into a La Nina pattern. And what that means usually for us is we're going to get somewhat colder air. Now, this is where some of the hypesters are putting up some of the graphics, and they're talking about stratospheric warming and all that, but then they don't put any context and explain what it means. Then they talk about how it's going to affect the polar vortex and all of that. Really, simply, warm air displaces cold air displaces warm air. Okay, warm air rises, cold air falls. So when you get stratospheric, that's going up above where all the clouds and where the most of the weather happens here in our atmosphere. When you get up into the stratosphere, another level up, there is warming that's going to take place, which when that warming happens, and it happens year round, it's just going to be a little more pronounced. It displaces the cold air and makes it move out of the way when you're pushing it, out of the way. We're going to get a piece of that polar vortex, and that's why we're looking to get much colder late in this month after Thanksgiving and into the beginning of December. But it does not mean just because we get colder that it's going to snow. Now, if there happens to be moisture, yes, then it could. But I've seen some really incredible posts today from, there's one in particular. I called him out tonight. I think, well, he doesn't. Here's another thing that gripes me. He doesn't even go by his name. Always be suspect of any social media post, weather hype, beautiful graphics, and they post and post and post and post several times a day. They go by X Weather Center or something Weather Central, or, it's like they make themselves out like they're the Weather Channel or some other entity, there's some big conglomerate somewhere, big operation, and they give themselves a name, and they don't even put the person's real name attached to anything. Yes, mine is called 270 Weather, but you know who I am. My name is all over this stuff. What do you think? Like Ryan Hall. A lot of you like Ryan Hall. Well, at least he puts his name on stuff. He's not oblivious. I mean, you see his face. This one guy, and I'll just tell you who it is. He goes by Snowbird Bob. And I'm like, he is just littering the internet with these outlandish long range calls for snow, sometimes 46 days away, and getting people worked up for no reason. And then he puts in, small print. Well, if you can't understand that this is not a forecast, well, hey, Bob, if that's your real name, why put it out there if it's not a forecast? Can you explain that to me? How that makes sense? If it's not a forecast, then why bother? And call it eye candy and all this big colorful graphics and all this stuff. And I mean, he gets followers, clicks, likes, shares. But guess what? There comes, just like for me and for many others that do this legitimately, yes, places like Facebook and YouTube, X, Instagram, they will monetize. In other words, they will pay the content, the person that's doing the content, like me, like him, like Ryan Hall, they will pay them for as many followers as they have when they reach a certain plateau. I have reached that, so yes, I get a little something in my pocket. But some of these guys are just, I feel like him, is misusing it. And I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's like, dude, just give it a rest. It's too much. And how about showing your face? And how about putting your real name out there? How about standing up for your cause and standing up for what you represent, and quit doing these way far off long range forecasts and then not calling it a forecast? That's probably what gripes me more than anything else. Why even put it out there if it's not a forecast? It's just a big waste of everybody's time. And I call it drive-by weather because it's, you can put up a forecast like that, drive by, fancy graphics, everybody gets attention, it gets noticed, it gets shared. Oh, I hate that. It gets shared. And then when it's not correct and it doesn't come out that way, you don't hear from them. They never say, oh, maybe I shouldn't have put out a 46-day forecast, a 364-hour forecast, a 10-week forecast, or whatever it is, something ridiculous. Why even do it? You're just trying, you're grandstanding, you're posing, you're hyper forecasting. You just need to stop doing it. But again, I don't want to be I don't know. I'm trying to show some grace, but it's kind of hard to do. So, yeah. Okay, you guys got me started now. I don't know where to stop. Steve M. Yes, we appreciate your ability to explain it to us and to try not to use a scare tactic. Well, scare tactics do not work. Corbin Mattingly. Corbin, I think I know you, right? Robert? Robert, yeah. Watching from Litchfield, thank you for your weather updates on here and WNKY News 40. Thank you. Here's Kimberly. When should we, no doubt, be completely ready to stay inside no matter what? Due to the weather, do you know yet? Will you be able to tell us? Well, if it applies to what I was talking about, the rain and the thunderstorms coming in tomorrow and Friday and a little bit of Saturday, you'll just have to, here's what I would do. Download the News 40 weather app. Yeah, because that's going to show you right there. Wait a minute. See, that's going to show you right there what the weather is going to do, when it happens, when it's supposed to rain, when it's supposed to storm, and anything else. Plus, it has radar and all of that. And when you download that, it's free and it follows you wherever you go. So that way you know what's happening. Let's see. Patty, at least I don't have to turn on my heat tonight. Save on my light bill. Well, good. There you go. Niecy Blair. Hey, Chris, you're my favorite. My husband's favorite weather person. We always listen to you. I'm not yelling today. Niecy, you weren't yelling. I know what you're talking about, but you were not yelling. Okay. You were just trying to get my attention yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yesterday, when you guys couldn't see. All you saw was just, there was a blank graphic and you couldn't see anything because I wasn't paying attention to comments like I am tonight. And you were trying to get my attention, but you weren't yelling. No, you're fine. You're fine. So, let's see, just a few more here. Robert. Yeah. Okay. So I thought I had met you. We met a couple of times at your weather radio things at both Walgreens and Ace Hardware. It's been a while though. Yes, I do remember. See, I knew that name sounded familiar. And by the way, working on doing the weather radio thing again with Ace Hardware. It's in the works. We've had one meeting about it already, about to have another. I just wanted to let you guys know because I want to get you up and ready for spring. Yes, now I want to get you ready for spring. I'm not going to wait. We're going to do some of these during the winter to get you ready for what's coming. Okay. I don't know how bad it's going to be, but I just want you to be ready. Okay, I took a little extra time just to do that, get all these comments where you could see them. These are comments that come through my Facebook feed and my YouTube channel, which now the YouTube channel is going to allow you to send me, do they call them stars or is that Facebook? I think that's Facebook. But when you subscribe now, there's going to be some little extra things that you can do. You can put your avatar up there. You can send me, like Ryan Hall does, you can send me those little things. I don't know what they're called. But anyway, they're kind of fun. And you get to see your comments up here. So, yep. Going to do that. All right. Are you guys good? Everybody good? I think we had a good show tonight. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I went off a little bit, but just like I said the other night, just stick with the people you trust, even if it's not me. If for some reason you do not like me, you don't like my attitude, you've never liked me, that's okay. God bless you. It's okay. It's America. You get to like and choose whoever you want. You might like, Snowbird Bob or whoever he is, or any of these other yahoos out there. People that just slipped out. But, they're going to do what they're going to do, and I'm going to do what I do. Trust who you want. Okay? And by the way, let me just say one last thing here about R&R Controls. You thought I forgot. I did not forget, because R&R Controls is my sponsor. They're good people. They can set you up with a generator, take care of your heating, cooling, ventilation, automation, whatever you need. Give them a call, 270-777-2024. They're in the office tomorrow, or you can hit them up on their website, rnrhvac.com. You need to have them come out and check your units, like your heating, cooling units, your HVAC, your ventilation, your filters. Have you changed your filters in your heating and cooling system? Is the coils working? Is the compressor working? Is your thermostat working? If you're not happy or satisfied with your current situation, you need to hit them up on their website or call them 270-777-2024. Because with R&R Controls, you'll never be without. All right, I'm done. It's almost 7:00. Thank you guys. Love you. Appreciate you. I'll see you on TV tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., News 40 Sunrise, then again at 9, then again at noon. And then I'll do another one of these tomorrow evening to update you on the weekend weather before Thanksgiving. Wow, it's almost here. I can smell the turkey. See you.